Welcome back to my little channel. Yes, I know the sound on this one is dreadful again, or at least I think it's dreadful. That's because I'm at work again. I don't like night shifts, I really don't, but hey, it gives me time to do this. What is this? Well, today I'm going to respond to a little movie from Chloe Arden. In this video I'm going to make a small response to Chloe Arden, and I hope to make a good one. She talks about how she has problems being transgender, and I don't have a problem using the pronoun she in this because that's what transgenderism is, someone going from one gender to the other. And doing this is problematic to begin with. She doesn't need me to tell her she's wrong about that, nor does anyone. I mean, she's trying to live her life, but these are the problems she is facing. So let's talk about that for a change.
Hey guys, it's Chloe. I'm back today with a little bit of a downer video. I'm going to be talking about why I hate being transgender. And there's quite a few reasons, and if you guys don't want to watch a downing video right now, maybe don't watch this. But these are just some of the reasons that I personally don't like being transgender.
Personally, I would say more people should watch this because it's not a downer, it's realistic. You are basically talking about the problems you're having with being transgender. And whether you are right or wrong, these are still problems you are having. It's well worth discussing, to be honest, so that people know that being transgender isn't something to do for fun. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to imply that you're doing it just for the fun of it. Unfortunately, we do have some, transgenders out there. But at least you're trying to be honest to who you want to be and who you maybe even are.
Number one is boys, and this is in no order, okay? This is just, number one is boys, and the reason is people, especially boys, just look at me differently. And that's the thing that bugs me, is because everybody's like, oh, Chloe, like, you can wear whatever you want and nobody's gonna judge you for it. But if a normal girl wore that, they'd be being called a slut. Honestly, I'd rather be called a slut than get away with it, because that just means that people don't look at me as a female. You know? Like, and that almost is more hurtful than I think being called a slut would be. Like, do you understand what I mean? Like, when I walk around, guys look at me like I'm, like, attractive, like some people do. But just in my head, me knowing that if they knew that I was trans, most likely their feelings would change.
Now, first off, I hear you talk about the problem you're having with not being recognized as a woman, or at the same time that sometimes you are recognized as a woman, but you have the feeling that once they know you're not a born woman, people may respond to you differently. And unfortunately on this, I fear you are right. But at the same time, give people a chance. Be honest. And this might actually open the hearts of people around you. Because whether you are an interesting person shouldn't be based on your gender. Now, if someone wants a partner, and this is something where you will have a problem with, if a man wants a partner, they often want one because they also want offspring. Now, that's going to be a problem. But at the same time, if you're honest and open from the start, it might make them see different.
That pisses me off so much. Because I understand if it's hard for people to, like, grasp the whole topic if they haven't experienced it or have someone in their life who's experienced it. But I just really hate that, like, if you identify as a certain gender, then I don't think genitalia should define who you can be with.
But it is. In partnerships, genitalia is just about everything of the whole partner you're looking for. Whether you're gay or straight. If you're a gay man, you look for someone with a dick. If you're a gay girl, you look for someone with a vagina. If you're a normal man, a straight man, or a normal woman, a straight woman, you look someone in the opposite sex. That's how it is. Being a transgender won't change that. I'm sorry. If you feel that you're a girl, fair enough. If you go through operation, fair enough. But you're not making your life easier. That's the whole problem. Your born sex is the sex that people will, on average, recognize you with. And if people are looking for a relationship, they base that on their own born sex and the born sex they want to have a relationship with. This is the reason why human species is a dimorphic species, as so many other species out there are.
You know, like, and I think that if sex wasn't such an expected thing in relationships these days, then it wouldn't be as much of a problem. But because apparently we are the horniest fucking generation of all time, that's not gonna happen.
I'm sorry, Chloe, but you really don't seem to understand what dimorphic species means. Humans have been horny, if you want to call it like that, for as long as they've been around. It's called procreation. It's basically the most important thing a man and a woman do. It's even more important than making a fair wage or learning a skill. The primary reason for people to be alive is to procreate. You could wonder whether that's a good thing, but that's genetically inbred. There's nothing we can do about it. This is how our mindset works. Now, some people stopped thinking like that. Fair enough. You could be one of those people. No problem there. But you can hardly blame people following their genetic code. And this is what you're doing. This is rather disingenuous of you, Chloe. Really, it is.
Number 2 would definitely be the social pressure that has been put on me and other trans people. I constantly feel like I have to look not flawless, but I have to try my best to look like a girl. Like, I have to always look spruced up and always have makeup on whenever I'm going to see anyone and always wear cute clothes and keep up with all the stupid trends that are going on. Because if I don't, and if I don't look passable, I'm going to be judged even more than I already am.
I wonder whether this is your own anxiety talking, because it does sound like that.
And, like, that's such a awful thing to have to deal with. Like, that gives me anxiety all the time. Like, it's constantly going through my mind, like, oh my gosh, like, did they just clock me? Like, do I look bad? Like, do I look like a boy right now? Like, what do I look like right now? Like, it's just a constant fear, because if people clock you, that's instantly putting yourself in danger, you know? Because there's transphobic people out there that'll do some fucked up shit, you know? And it's, like, constantly putting yourself in danger if you, like, for me personally, if I don't feel like I look passable, you know? Like, and I just feel like at school or anywhere, like, I wouldn't fit in socially if I wasn't as passable as I am. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'd be outcast or, like, weird or, like, a loser if I was a non-passable trans person. Because there are non-passable, mainly trans guys at my school. There's a couple. And they aren't, like, they don't have a lot of friends. And it just worries me. Like, I don't want to be alone. Like, I'm somebody that likes to be social, and I'm somebody that likes to talk to people and help people and, you know, gossip and do all these stupid shit things. But, like, I feel like I have to be perfect in order for people to accept me. And the pressure that comes along with being transgender is honestly really, really difficult.
Okay, I let you talk for a while because this is important, what I'm going to tell you next. And the first thing I'll tell you, yes, you are right that there could be a threat on you because of people not being accepting of transgenders. It's not that huge a threat, but I admit it is there. But the main thing I want to tell you now is this. Did you notice how many of your sentences started with I feel? You're talking about your own anxieties. They need to be in check. You need to try and figure out why you are a transgender and whether you want to be a transgender and who you are. Because first off, you need to be happy with who you are, not what other people think of you. If you cannot do that, I fear you will have a very hard life.
Number 3 would definitely be clothing and surgeries. So basically, I cannot get my vaginoplasty until 2017 because you have to be of legal age and on hormones. They like you to be on hormones for at least a year, but I'll be on hormones for 2 years at that point. If I want to wear jeans or leggings or like a pencil skirt or anything that's generally tight, I have to tuck. And the way that I get the best tuck is just because I'm fucking sav and I just use duct tape, okay? I just fucking use duct tape. It gets the job done. And it's painful as fuck. Like, when I take it off, it's like, oh, there goes a layer of skin. But that's what I have to do in order to have a flat surface. Like, whenever I'm at school or something, like, I remember I was in socials class one time, and I was like, fuck, like, I really have to pee. They're like, why don't you just go pee? And I literally turned around and I was like, because I'm using duct tape to make it look like I have a vagina right now.
Love it.
Well, that answers whether you're post-op or not. At the same time, though, it shouldn't make that much of a difference. But the thing is, this means that for all intents and purposes, you are still a boy. Now, I'm not sure whether you're gay or whether you are transgender and you really want to become a woman, but you're still interested in women. I have no idea. I mean, there are other transgenders on YouTube that claim to be women, but they still have their dick and they're interested in women. Now, I'm sorry, but as long as the operation hasn't gone through, you're not a transgender, you're a transvestite. I have no problem with that either. And most transvestites are not gay. So it all doesn't make any difference in reality. But it does make a difference on how people will look at you. So yeah, I'm sorry, if you tell people that you need to pee but you're not going to the toilet because you duct taped your dick, people will look at you weirdly. It's fairness though, do you really expect people to say, oh, well, yeah, no, I understand that? Because it is weird. Be honest.
But yeah, so that is obviously something that's really painful for me, and I don't like to tuck all the time because like it's really, really uncomfortable. So I often wear like joggers or like a flared out sort of skirt, you know what I mean? And then just like wear like really like tight shorts, which sort of like compress everything. So that's kind of what I do for that, you know what I mean?
Thanks for sharing, I guess. There are lots of tips out there how to be a good transvestite, to be honest. I mean, you should look it up. It might be helpful for you. At least until you have had your operation, I mean.
But yeah, and surgeries is a real pain too. The fact that I have to wait 2 more years to get my vaginoplasty and like a breast augmentation is really, really annoying because I wish I could get it now, honestly, because that's what I think would make me feel better about myself and make me happier, and so that I wouldn't have to go through all the pain in order to just look like a normal girl. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's honestly such a struggle, and unless you're like a trans person and you've tucked, you don't understand how painful it can be to do it for like extended periods of time.
You're saying two things here. The first thing is that you really want to go through your operations and you hope it will make you feel happier. I wish it would, but you really need to work on your self-image as well, because a lot of your fears are based on how you feel people will perceive you. I'm afraid that even after your operation, this will be part of what you will feel. It would be easier to find a partner, I guess, but other than that, people will still look at you the way that they look at you now. I'm not sure if that's fair or not, but that's how it is. And I believe you when you say it's really painful to make yourself look like a woman by using duct tape. I'm not even going to give you any argument on that. I'm also not going to give it a try.
The next thing would definitely be dysphoria. Gender dysphoria. It's awful. It is atrocious waking up every single day and seeing things that you don't relate with, that you don't feel you need to have. Like, you feel disgusted. Like, I feel disgusted with my body. I feel disgusted with my body, and whenever I wake up and look in the mirror and see everything that's down there, it is so difficult for me, because I know that that's not what is supposed to be there. I know that I am supposed to be a girl, and just waking up every single day and seeing something that isn't supposed to be there is really hard, and it really gets you down sometimes. Just thinking about it and thinking about, what if I was normal, you know, like, what if I was normal, like, would people love me, like, could I be with this guy, like, would people accept me for who I am? And I don't know, it's just, if you haven't dealt with somebody that's transgender, or you haven't been through it, just don't judge, okay? Because all the hate that you get on a regular basis, times it by 10 if you're transgender. Okay, and times the judge you get by 10 if you're transgender. It's putting a target on your back. And the stress that comes along with it is awful, you guys. It is awful. And I am so sorry that I just did that. I don't usually cry in front of people ever, but, like, sometimes just thinking about it, it really overwhelms me. But yeah, it's just hard. And if you haven't been through it, then just don't judge, because it's not just me that's going through it. There's a million gajillion people that are going through it.
In this, I 100% agree with you. Gender dysphoria is a huge problem. And yes, people that are transgender often suffer from gender dysphoria. Why is this such a big problem though? Well, because gender dysphoria is basically not being happy with who you are in the extreme. And this is why I have a problem with people who are promoting transgenderism as a normal thing, because they don't recognize the fact that it isn't. Not because it's weird that you're going from one sex to another, but the reason why a lot of transgenders do is because of gender dysphoria. And this makes people, the ones that go from one to the other, very unhappy. As I said earlier, you start a lot of sentences with "I feel." And the fact that you couldn't keep your eyes dry on this little bit shows how deep it hurts and how close to home it gets. And this is the main issue people should be talking about. I don't mind if you go from man to woman or from woman to man. I mind, however, when we have a society that deems it appreciative, normal, a good thing, and talks to children as if this is something that they should want to aspire. For example, the safe school systems in Australia and now in the UK, the latest National Geographic talking about how it's good for kids to switch from one sex to another. It's not. It never is. It's always a hard thing to do. And seeing you in tears basically proves that it really is. I can only wish you the best with your decision. And I really mean it when I say try to be happy with who you are. Even if you are going to change yourself from one sex to the other, try to be happy with who you are. And that's the real struggle.
And just don't judge a book by its cover. Like, get to know somebody first. Like, it's really unfortunate that people see you and off your looks, they base, oh, that's a girl or that's a boy. Like, people don't understand that you don't have to be either. You can be gender neutral. Like, you could fucking relate to a giraffe, okay? You can do whatever you want.
And here you are very disingenuous again. You yourself say you have a problem identifying as a male. You have a problem recognizing your body as it is. This is the reason why you want to turn into a woman. Don't you then get it that there are only two options? You cannot identify as a giraffe because you're not. This is the problem, though, that we see pushed forward more and more and more. There are only two genders. Gender dysphoria is bad enough as it is. Don't try to make up new stuff. This is what's happening. This is why people are now suddenly identifying as werekin, dragonkin, whatever you want kin. This is a problem. Do not promote this. Don't make it sound like it's a good thing. Because by doing so, you are creating dysphoria in other people. And try to recognize how you feel about the dysphoria you're in. Then why would you want to create it with other people? Now don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming you, but the attitude starts with what you just did. You can identify with whatever you want. If this is true, then you don't have to identify with who you are. And this is part of the problem, because you do have to identify with who you are. And I can understand that you say, okay, but there's a difference between a boy and a girl. I feel like a girl, even though I'm born as a boy. I can understand that. It's still a problem, but I can understand that. But identifying as a giraffe? No. No.
Like, nobody can tell you what the fuck you want to do. Like, you need to go out there and you need to live your life. Because in the end, you only have yourself. And if you're not happy with yourself, then you go fucking change it. You do whatever the fuck you need to do to make you happy, you know? And I just think that being transgender adds extra stress and extra hate that I don't need.
Do you not hear yourself talking this? Do whatever you want to do, be whoever you want to be, but being transgender, it's extra stress, I don't need it. Then why are you promoting it to other people?
I just don't need it. Because I'm trying to be happy with myself. And this has probably been the most depressing video of all time. I am so sorry. But thanks for watching.
Now, you are giving a lot of mixed messages here. At one point you talk about how it's terrible for you to be transgender and how hard it is for you and how bad you feel about it and how you feel that people should be more respectful towards you and other transgenders. And I can understand all of this. And at the same time, you're telling people that it's okay to be transgender. But don't you understand the problem that they are going into? And if you are truly gender dysphoric, and this is the reason why you want to change from one gender to another, then yeah, okay, I can understand that. I don't agree with it, but I don't have to. It's not up to me. But I do have a problem with then trying to normalize it. Even though at the same sentence you say it's okay, you tell us how hard it is for you. Don't you understand that by creating a society where transgenderism is being normalized, we also are creating a gendered society that thinks that gender itself means nothing. But it does, even to you. If it didn't mean anything to you, why would you want to change from one gender to another? If it means nothing, you can just call yourself, as you said, a giraffe. Who cares? But you care. It makes you unhappy that you have a dick. Fair enough. Therefore you want to become a woman? Again, fair enough. But recognize the feeling that you have. The fact that you feel bad about it. And you're talking about how this is okay when it is something someone else does. But at the same time, you're telling us how bad you feel about it. So how can it be both okay and bad? Don't you understand the double standard in this? This is what dysphoria is. I'm sorry to hear that you have such a hard time. I really am. I do wish that after your operation, you will feel better. Unfortunately, chances are that it won't really make that big of a difference because you already feel bad. It's not a magic trick. It's not going to make the world suddenly be a better place. And in the rest of the world, even in your direct center of the world, you will still need to find people who will accept you for who you are. And they cannot accept you for who you are as long as you do not accept who you are. Don't you understand that this is biggest problem with transgenderism. You have to be happy with yourself, no matter how hard it is, before other people can be happy with you. Because there's nothing other people can do for you if you don't care about yourself. Anyway, I might be rambling a bit, but gender dysphoria is one of my pet projects, so to speak. It is one of the biggest problems the Western world is facing at the moment. And I do feel for people who suffer from it. I have nothing against people wanting to be transgender because of gender dysphoria. I'm not sure if being a transgender will be the solution. And unfortunately, reality has shown us that for a lot of people who trans from one sex into another sex, indeed, it hasn't been a solution. They are more likely to commit suicide. I want to prevent that. I want people to be happy. If changing your sex will make you happy, then by all means do. But by talking how hard it is for you and at the same time telling us that it's okay for us to try as well, that identifying as whatever you want is a good thing, I'm sorry, why are you being so disingenuous? You keep telling us how hard it is for you, yet you say, but hey, you know what? You can go for it, have fun. It doesn't work that way, and you know it doesn't work that way. Anyway, I'm going to end my little video as well. I hope you enjoyed my response. It's not the happiest, I know. It's not the nicest, I know. Like, share, subscribe if you feel so inclined. If not, criticism, as always, is more than welcome. And I wish you all a good day.